Hey guys, welcome to Staying Strong with Ashley. Today I want to talk about forgiveness and trust. I feel like these can go hand in hand, whether it's personal or against other people. I've talked about forgiving yourself and what that looks like, and this time I want to talk a little bit about forgiving others. It's been a lot on my mind about it, and so I thought I'd just share my thoughts. And if you have any yourselves throughout the video, feel free to comment, shoot me a message, or anything like that. But I think forgiveness can be very hard for us because what we want to do is we want to hold on to it. We want to hold on to what's happened because it makes us feel safe. It makes us feel in control. And unfortunately, we are not in control. I feel like I'm never in control of my life, no matter how much I try, and I try a lot. I was actually just talking about this the other day with someone. And so letting go of some of that control, especially when it's a hurtful thing that happened to us, can just be a safe place. And while reading different things and different devotionals this past week, it made me think about what forgiveness really means and what that's supposed to look like. And this devotional I had says, forgiveness does not excuse the offending behavior. Forgiveness excuses the offender. The fact that we forgive someone of their actions towards us does not make that action okay. Things have been said to me, things have been done to me, that it's just hard to realize and comprehend sometimes. And although that action is not okay, that also doesn't mean that I have to hold on to that. I could easily hold on to the hardness and I don't really know the right word for it, but against the doctors, the anger against the doctors who didn't catch any of the stillbirths, who didn't catch this stuff sooner, right? Who didn't say to me sooner, hey, you need a cerclage at 13 weeks. Hey, I could have got upset and angry with them, and I'm not saying I didn't, but sometimes I have to realize, they didn't know. They didn't realize it. They weren't specialized in that area. There are many things that go along with that. Just like those who said some really hurtful things after the kids happened, or even now, some people have said some hurtful things, not regarding the kids, just in life. Things that I have a hard time comprehending. And I have to realize that when it comes to those people and those things said, I can't accept it, and I can't be okay with what happened, but what I can do is forgive that person, right? I can say to you don't even have to say to that person, sometimes it's just personally saying out loud, or just sitting there contemplating and thinking it to yourself, I can't hold on to this anymore. I can't hold on to this anger. I can't hold on to this this hardness, this just frustration or whatever. I can't hold on to it. And letting it go really means trusting that person or whatever happened will change, and if they don't, that you have to be okay with that, because it's not on you. It's not on you to make that decision for them. In this devotional also says, when we forgive, we are saying to that person, you are bigger and better than what you did against me. I choose to see you over this action. And that's it, right? I have to choose, you have to choose to see that person bigger than what happened. We can't sit and say, okay, this person did this thing to me, and it's so bad and it's so wrong, and I'm just going to hold on to it, and I will never see you other than what it is that you did. Because we make mistakes. We don't know what we're doing. We are human beings that are trying to live a life that is not really guided. We have our own ways of going and doing things, and we have to be okay with that. And then we have to trust, right? So this may not be something that you tell that person, but it's something that you do. You trust that when you let go of the anger and the hurt, that that person, or well, usually it's a person, so I'm just gonna go with that, will do better. Or if they don't, that's not your responsibility. I have a big problem sometimes of trusting, because the trust that I've had for people has been broken many times. And so it can be really hard for me to trust that someone won't do something, or will do something, or, in a time frame that works, and all these things. And a lot of it has to do with my own personal control, right? I want control over a situation. I want control over things at work. I want control over things in my house. I want control a lot. And when I can't have that control, I get hurt, angry, upset, and I have to realize that I don't have control. I don't have control over other people. I don't have control over weather or, things. Like, I just don't have a lot of control over my life most of the time. And I have to trust that things will still work out the way it's supposed to. And I don't trust because I've seen the pattern. I've seen the pattern of the way things gone. I've seen the pattern of how things happen. And so I have a hard time trusting that things will get done if I don't step in, or if I don't say something, or even if it's just doing nothing. I just don't have that trust. And when it comes to forgiving other people for things that have happened, I have to trust that when I say something that says, hey, that hurt me, or that was upsetting, or, whatever, that person understands and will either A, do better next time, or B, that I will just continue to forgive and realize that I need to work on myself and work on different things. And the thing is, too, that's interesting is that sometimes when we forgive, we never get that apology. We may never get that apology. Hey, I'm sorry for hurting you. Hey, I'm sorry for this. There are a lot of times when you'll probably never get that. And yet you have to forgive so you don't hold on to it. Because that anger and that hurt and that hardness is going to stay there forever and ever and ever, and it's going to cause so much anxiety and so much worry, and it's just going to be so tense and stressful, and like, I'm already moving because I'm so tense about it, like, just talking about it, because it's just something that doesn't need to be held on to, and so so we have to be okay with sometimes we'll never get that apology, and sometimes we have to forgive without it. And I know personally, I've heard of stories of how someone murdered a family member, and then those other family members said to the murderer, hey, like, I forgive you. And you're like, how'd they do that? Like, I don't understand. Like, I'd be so angry. And it's true. They probably are angry, and they probably were angry. But forgiving doesn't mean that they excuse that behavior, right? We just talked about, like, doesn't mean that they're okay with the fact that that murder killed their family member. What it means is they're not wanting to hold on to that anymore. They're wanting to change and to say, you know what? You have to deal with what you have to deal with and your consequences of your actions. I don't have to hold on to my hurt and anger towards you anymore, so I can let go and live my life peacefully while you do your thing. In this devotional, it also says, if you've forgiven someone, but the hurtful memories are still there, which happens, by the way, a lot sometimes, right? Say we forgive someone, we're like, okay, good, but then the memories keep popping up in our minds. Hey, they did this. Hey, this happened. Hey, this happened. What do we do, right? What do we do? And so it says here, don't be hard on yourself. Your brain is functioning as normal, and the command to forgive is abnormal, and yet it's something that we have to do. So our brains are not functioned sometimes to think, hey, let's forgive. Like, it's functioned to kind of sometimes stay like, hey, remember this, and to stay in that, because that's just what the memories tend to do. Number 2 is be graceful. be kind and compassionate to one another and forgiving each other. I think that that when we think about being kind and compassionate, we can do that to people we like and not always to people we don't like, right? And so when someone's hurt us, we have to say, look, the memories are there, the forgiveness I've continued to do, but I'm still going to be kind to that person, I'm still going to be nice to that person, because then that means that I've shown them continued forgiveness. Excuse me. Not only just continued forgiveness, but also that I trust that I don't have to hold on to this anymore. Number 3 is be merciful. Mercy is the withholding of the punishment that someone deserves. There are times when people deserve things that you wish that like karma would come back around. And sometimes it happens, and other times it doesn't. And I feel like in my terms of things that have come back around in karma, when I hear about something happening to that person that they deserve, I feel worse. Because ultimately, I didn't actually, like, I thought I wanted that, you know, like I wanted that person to hurt, but then I feel bad that that person hurt just like I did, because ultimately I don't want other people to hurt like me, you know? And so I have to realize, like, I don't want them to hurt like me because it hurts so much, and because I just don't want other people to go through it. So then why would I not, you know, forgive and just let them withhold that punishment, right? Why would I force that punishment on them if I don't want that hurt again? Depending on what it is, right? Because there are many different scenarios and many different things for that. But and number 4, where possible and if safe, make new positive memories. I think this is super important, and one that I didn't always realize is when you make new memories, you don't have to make memories with that same person. So, an example would be I'm dating a wonderful guy now. He's amazing, and I'm making new memories with him all the time, it feels like, which is great. But there are sometimes still memories from my past relationship that come up. And I have to realize that A, he's not that person, right? He's not the person from a past relationship. And B, these new memories, these new things that I'm doing with him are completely separating the bad, right? So the new things that are happening and the positive things that are happening are almost overtaking the bad that I had before. So that I don't have to think about and sit there and like dwell on all the bad memories that I have. The other thing is, with regards to certain people, sometimes it's not safe to do that. You know, you have certain memories with those person that you just, every time you think about, it's just there. And I would suggest, you know, if you can't get over that with that person, find someone else to make different things. You know, maybe like you had a friend who really hurt you, and you've tried to make new memories and you just can't. You can't with that person. I would suggest maybe finding someone else to do new things with. You know, maybe it's like every time you went bowling, you thought of this one friend, and you know, you and this friend went bowling all the time. Well, maybe try a new friend to go bowling with and see how it works. And be consistent in that, you know, so that when you associate, you know, bowling, let's go with bowling, you don't associate with bad, instead you associate with the good. The new memories are always going to be, and positive, right, are always going to try to take over the bad, and the bad are always going to try to take over the good. But the more positive new memories we have, the better we're going to be to not have a hold on unforgiveness, hold on keep thinking and going and doing those things. Like, we just won't have that hold anymore. And there's going to be fear, and it's going to be scary. I know personally, sometimes I think about what's going to happen in the future, you know, when I get pregnant again, and when, well, you know, when things happen this way, like, what's that going to look like? And I have to realize, like, A, now's not the time to think about that. Like, I'm not even ready for that right now. So let's not think about it. And B, I'll have the ability to know different things better, right? Sometimes those bad things that have happened to us make us realize that we have different steps to take now. you know. So for me, I would then go to a high-risk doctor and I would talk to them about different things, and I have the ability now to say, hey, here's my issue, you know, I have a spontaneous incompetent cervix and let's get this together. And so I think that helps too, like, okay, hey, like, this thing happened, you know, whether it's you got in a car accident and so now you are more cautious about different things and you're looking at stop signs differently or whatever it is, like, those things can cause us to be maybe more cautious, but they also can take steps that can better us in the future because we realize it. But the more anger and the hurt we hold on to, especially against other people, the more bitter and the more anger we have, and the more we're lashing out to people that we don't need to, because we're not letting it go and saying, hey, I see this behavior from this person, I see this thing happening, but it's, you know, I don't need to hold on to that anymore. And you're going to get hurt again, and you're going to have to forgive again, and it's just going to keep going and going and going. And the problem isn't that, you know, it's never going to happen again. It may happen with someone else, right? But they didn't know. It's just that you don't have to hold on to that. And then you have to trust that things will get better. And like I said before, like, trust is hard. Trust is hard when you want control. You want control so much. I mean, I guess that's me, right? I want control over my life all the time. You know, I want to do X, Y, Z and do these things. And honestly, it's 2021 and we're still slowly getting vaccinated and still slowly opening things up. And there's so many things I want to do, and I don't have control over how things go, how things progress, where people are. Like, I don't have that control, and I have to be okay with that. I have to be okay with, like, you know, where things are at, and that I just don't have that control. I don't have control over other people. I don't have control over things. And I have to just be like, I actually have control over myself and what I do, and my emotions and my stuff and my hurt, and that's all that I can do. And sometimes we have to just step back and say, hey, this is what I have, this is what I can do. And sometimes forgiving is the biggest one. I forgive that person, I let it go, I move on with new memories, I move on with being kind and compassionate, I be like gentle with myself, gentle with others, and keep moving forward. It can be hard, and it's going to be hard, but I think in general, when we try things that really work through us and help us out in this way, we'll just be happier and better and want to do new things. Again, if you have any other questions, comments, things like that, feel free to comment below. Also subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.